Welcome everyone to the Master Box, where today we have a riveting Squire Joust Tournament game with
Hot.
my co-host. Would you like to introduce yourself
It's
and the players?
yes, it's me, Graham. What's up, everybody? So on the left here in the blue, we have Borry playing as Verteidigungsbereich Toulon balance, and then on the right-hand side here in the red, we have Dragon CZ. I'm probably gonna use both those names, and he's playing as 715th balance. So some hot balance action here on Shedrin.
Now, speaking of hot balanced action, the fact that we have Borry over here setting up all the support equipment over the edge. Whew, this is going to be rough for Dragon CZ to push through.
Yeah, Toulon's like one of the few divisions that still has distractions, right?
Yeah.
Like that's most of them kind of nerfed from the game, unless it's actually, which one? One of them has Panzer, like the partisans in it. But either way, yeah. So it's a bunch of MG42s, a bunch of support equipment here, and that's gonna go ahead and quickly kill this Pack 40. This IG-33 is also in danger, even though in theory it could kind of like kill everything here. I think there's just too much firepower. It just annihilated that Pack 177 though. But yeah.
Yeah, but that Flak 88 using the Laffy transport, getting up there so quick is such a big thing. Like Toulon's ability to move support equipment into positions at the beginning of the game is crazy because of those Laffy transports they have.
Yeah, Toulon it's a weird division. Like when it was introduced, even today, I don't think it's broken or anything, and I don't think it's horrible. It fits kind of weird because it has a unique play style, being in theory a garbage garrison infantry division. But it does have fast transports like you talked about. It has some crazy off map, but all the off map is it's airborne. So yeah. It's a really weird division, but I think it's a very fun division. It's really cool, and they have some really unique stuff.
And one thing is, I'm really happy to see, these older divisions, fighting against the newer divisions with the power creep that goes on. And, we actually still get good games out of it. So I don't think, the infantry balance is absolute shit, because I think every division has their place. Like we're talking about with Toulon. It has the ability to move support equipment up, crazy fast, and no other division really has that ability.
Yeah, I find it also interesting both players here grabbing bombers right away. The Focke-Wulf F-190. I mean, that's kind of really overkill to kill a B-40. But I guess he really wanted dead. Now, if she could get on the tail here and kill this SM-79, then I think this has been a great purchase,
Unironically, great purchase.
Yeah, I don't know if I would do it in quite that sequence, but hey, it's an art. We have a strategy game going down. You're making decisions. Both players being balanced. I don't think it's bad for either to dip into air early because you have the same amount of income, and it clearly worked in Borry's favor.
Yeah, I think it worked in Borry's favor, but at the same time, Dragon utilizing that Spavero to break that hill that he needs to take is also tactically important too. So, if the Spavero would have lived, it would have been a great purchase on its own.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. The problem is fighting Sturm Pioneers nowadays in heavy forest is just brutal. The shock trait has, I think, really giving a new lease on life on the Sturm Pioneer. So if you're going to engage in any heavy forested area, you need to bring your own, because Pioneers just won't cut. These really won't cut it anymore. And even though 715th, I do like the nice cheap discard Pioneer infantry they get. It's just, as we saw there, even with an SM-79 in the area, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, no, that shock trait has given a new lease on life to a lot of old units that people never really touched. A good example of that is the Alpto Machikis and all the Soviet decks. Oh my god, you put those things at 2 stars and those Papa Shahs just sing.
Yeah, no, it's created an interesting dynamic in the game here where it's really affected older infantry, and then it seems to counter that Eugen Start is adding new infantry into all these divisions. So I'm not sure long term how that will help the game in terms of balance, but it does make the casting and watching it play out interesting. Here though, Borry's going to get a very early 15-9, and as balance, this is just kind of crazy. If you're getting a 15-9 on your opponent with the same amount of income, you're just trading really efficiently for the most part.
Yeah, I think he's trading incredibly efficiency up north. I think the big point that you need to realize on this map is, do you commit balls deep to this northern push right between the lungs and the head with all the support equipment, all the tanks, everything that you can throw in there to win that fight to then take the head, right? And what we saw Borry goes balls deep. He put everything he could there, and he just dug in like a tick after that.
Yeah, and now that because he has firm control over the complete northern portion of the map, like any armor that comes up here, the Flak 41's more than capable of dealing with it at this stage in the game. He is going to try and push across essentially the valley here. I think he could have success, but obviously the Pack 40 is going to have to be dealt with. And but the Panzer 39 here, it just shows you like what having an armored vehicle with machine guns can do, because we're already pushing back these MG34s and creating a situation where maybe he can get more infantry in there.
Yeah, there was one cast I did with Nilla where we were casting Nov because why not? And the Nov player had some Panzer L6s in a town, and the other player didn't, and we just basically said, "Hey, I got armor, you don't, I win." And I think that's what we're noticing with these Panzer 39Hs. Like, even though they are absolute trash, they're 20 points, but they got 60 mils of front armor, and a bullet ain't going through that.
Yeah, and the big thing also with them is the suppression rate on the MGs with the tank. I forget when some of that was kind of changed, but vehicles do, I believe, a little bit more suppression, and just in general. So anytime you have an armored vehicle that has no counter to it in terms of anti-tank weaponry, like you said, it can be a 20-point garbage unit that a rock might be able to, penetrate in real life. But in this video game, it's going to suppress the living shit out of everything around it.
Yeah, and the other crazy thing is, like, what we're seeing here is with these Panzer Grenadier 41s, they have to get within 120 meters. So as long as we have Borry keep that Panzer 39H out of that 120 meter threat range,
yeah,
the infantry anti-tank can't do anything. And then if you look at like the Panzerbusches that this division has, I don't think he has any out right now, but they don't have the penetration.
Yeah, it's gonna be like the Panzer 39, like that's really an H39, I believe. They're not like anything great, and honestly, and a lot of, excuse me if I can speak English, Toulon really doesn't. A lot of Toulon players don't even bring them because like they're just. It's kind of like wasted points in certain instance. But right here, right now, they're clearly proving their value. The Stug 3 killing the P40 right there, which is what it's supposed to do. That's just something that's really nasty. Like, you do get the card of Stug 3s, which will kind of like shit on those Italian tanks.
Oh, Jesus. And this IG-33 just hammering away at the lower portion of the right lung. Woo! That just killed off.
Yeah.
Wait, is that an attack? Yeah, he's attack positioning. He remembered where the Pack 40 was. That's a really good move.
Yeah, and getting that kill right there, it's going to open up that bottom portion of the flank. Not like you can really exploit it too much here, but you see right from Dragon, there's a lot of support coming out IG-18, some Martyr 3s, but he's in a bit of a weird spot. Oh, the Stug 3 going down to the Luftwaffe Jaegers. They were able to go ahead and throw the satchel charge in there and get their, the heat shell. Get the kill. It's kind of a nasty little trade for him.
Yeah, well, one thing we're noticing right now with Borry is he's kind of throwing these Panzer 39Hs just willy-nilly into the fight. And yeah, it can work like that, but whenever you just need the infantry support, in all honesty.
Yeah, and he needs Sturm Pioneers here. Like, he saw how effective his Sturm Pioneers are up in the north, so pushing in here on the other side, just Sickerums. I mean, they did get the kill there, which I'm kind of surprised by. They must have got an earlier pin into the P40, so yes, that is nice, but these Sickerums are going to die, the Pioneers.
Yeah, no, the Sickerums, like, they're really good for killing, like, weirdly enough, medium armor in the flanks, and also light armor, but they are not close combat troops. And I think... I think one of the things we're noticing is that Borry only brings 4 Sturm Pioneers double-vetted in A, instead of the 5 normally, so he might have actually run out with pushing in, taking the northern, the head.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. I didn't notice the double vet natural, but yeah, now even though I did literally call that out at the beginning of the game, but yeah, so that's something that just so that's clearly meant for him to be an early aggressive tool, even as balanced, because he can pair it with his fast support equipment, and it worked out for him. So now at this point, though, pushing into that portion of the hill, I would probably wait until B here, get some Maros, get your Brandenburgers, and they will clear that out.
Oh yeah, and we have an IG-33 fight going on, and it's just like spitballing at each other.
Yeah, it just seems to me Borry is the better player. Like, if you're like watching the game here, I know like with the Kingdom of the Noobs tournament, it's not necessarily meant to be like exactly right 1-to-1 in terms of skill, right?
Yeah.
Of the it's just he's doing a lot of small little technical things that you can tell an experienced player is going to do, and that's not to say Dragon isn't, but he's he's just winning almost all of these small little fights, which is kind of snowballing.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing right now is like these small little trades that he's doing and the small things that we're noticing. So, for example, this 100 millimeter gun hammering the IG-33. So as soon as it pops back out, it's suppressed further, so his IG-33 can kill it. Like those little things where you're trying to tip those infantry fights in your favor, like they start paying off after a while, and that comes with how many hours of experience would you say though?
Oh, I don't know. I've seen dudes that have 1,000 hours and they don't do that, right? And I've seen guys that have 100 that do. I just think it's picking up on the game mechanics, right? Certain players are just naturally better at picking them up. Sometimes you have maybe Dragon's just having a bad day right at the office right now, but Borry's doing a lot of small things to put himself in a position to win this game, but not only just win it decisively right now. And so if you're Dragon, you need to stabilize it. The 15-9 has to stop because, like, I mean, just look at it. You have 8 minutes left, so you gotta get it back to the 14-10 and then kind of rebalance yourself.
Yeah, and the crazy part is, if you look down south, both players have, well, I said maybe like 3 minutes ago, both players had an even amount. But we're noticing that Borry has been like dumping troops into the south, even though he hasn't actually pushed down there. So we have like massive reinforcements of Panzer 39s versus just almost Luftwaffe like exclusively.
Yeah, and like the Luftwaffe Jaeger are a nice unit. I do like the Luftwaffe Jaeger, but they're not like really good at holding, I think, a town block because they only have one MG34. So in CQC with the 10 SVTs and then the 4 MP40s, yeah, they're kind of nasty and they're a thick squad, right, with a nice amount of HP. Yeah. But and trying to like lock down at like 150 plus meter like zone, which is a lot of what town fighting is, they're just really not going to be good at that. The fanatical trait is nice a little bit, but I mean, to be real, like they're at max range here, they're basically not much better than Sickers. Oh, but that artillery shell is slated. Who got a big boy? Oh, he bought a Morser. Oh, he bought the Morser 220.
Wait, he brought the what?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
He brought the big boy. Unfortunately, I think that's actually like that might be a game sealing move.
Yeah, now, instead of bringing the Morser, I think that one of the things that he could have done instead was bring mortars just to put smoke down to make a push on either the tip of the right lung or to the head itself. Because we saw he brought out 2 Decima Ardides that just got completely, like... We saw, like, that German IG-33 Bukkake, and it just killed them both with HE, right? But if he had utilized, like, some support equipment in the form of, like, smoke... he could have got those Decima Arditi into that area, and then those Decima would have done the Lord's work in the head over here.
Absolutely, I completely agree with you here. Anytime, like, especially the Italians, when you're talking about a lot of, like, 8-man, so low HP, but high DPS because of the Beretta, you're gonna smoke is a great way to get them close, so they could they can really maximize their efficiency. The Morser here as well, with no radio up there, it's highly inaccurate for the amount of points you're spending on an artillery piece, and this piece excels at really more at either like sniping other long range artillery or killing like large static pieces of equipment, not really like suppressing infantry for a major push because the fire rate's just too low.
Yeah, like a good example of that is his ability to kill off those IG-33s if he has radio would be fantastic. Like if that Morser was there with a radio, a lot of the support equipment would be completely under threat.
Right. Yeah, I completely agree with you. And we see here double Focke-Wulf 190s coming out here for the Tiger E. There is one Flak 36 here. I don't know that that's going to be enough to stop both of them. Yeah, it's going to stop one.
It's not one. Oh.
It matter. That was kind of a lucky crit, I think, right there to get the kill. Typically, unless this has changed, one F8 isn't going to kill a frontal Tiger E that hasn't been pinned. Oh, it does go down, though.
Oh, wow. That is a good trade, at least there. So we're seeing some trades fall. Some trades fall into Dragon CZ's hands, but I think overall, like right now, what we're seeing is a very good defensive line coming from Borry with Toulon.
Yeah, and now he's playing the long game, right? He's like, I'm getting up artillery. There's another 105, so there's going to be 2 SK-18s plus 2 of the Yugoslav 100s. I mean, the Morser here is trying to pick off one of the Yugoslav pieces, and I mean, a fallback order should be issued on this before it gets sniped. Okay.
Oh, that Morser direct hit. Ooh.
Which is what I was talking about. That's what you want to use the Morse for. This right here. The problem is that isn't going to help you at this point in the game because there's another 105 piece coming out. And if we
Yeah.
look at his artillery tab, he has 3 of those Yugos. He has a card of 6 SK. I mean, this is more artillery you'll ever call out, I think, in a 1v1. He's got, what was that, 6 more of Soviet?
No, eight more
that's
152s.
That's 8 152s in C. So you'll never call out that much artillery. That would be my one recommendation here to Borry. This is not a 10v10, but hey, these pieces they've clearly gotten some value.
Hey, all I'm saying is Borry has no tanks past A phase in his deck, so maybe the 8 152s is his ability to push an area.
Yeah, I got you. That is something, but I've typically found that, obviously I play very aggressive. I play Maverick, and my style's much different. I've just never seen it where you'll ever call out that much artillery.
Oh no, I've never casted or seen a game where that much artillery gets brought out.
Like you could, to be honest with him, I would probably ditch at least one C phase card of already, maybe both C phase cards because I mean, was that 6 SK18s?
Yeah.
4 SK18s. 4 SK18s. That right there, that used to be the best counter battery piece in the game.
So really, the SK18 105s were the best.
Yeah, that SK18 was really, really good for the price. I mean, you're talking 80 points for a 105. So the one downside to the SK18 was no smoke, but it also was 6 rate of fire on it. Like she was in, it's very accurate. It was one of the best in the game. I mean, look, it's already almost stunned this 220. This next shot actually should, I think, or it might be a little too high here.
Yeah, but there's another shot coming in. I think all 3 of them went on counter battery there.
Yeah, and the Brumbar just went down.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're gonna put out so much more fire right now in this Morser. I'm surprised the Morser is not fully stunned yet. That one should do it. Yeah,
oh, there we go. There, yeah.
The problem is it's not going to kill like that Morser. You know what I mean? Like we saw like the Morser with a 1-hit, which is annihilating the piece. So it's not going to quite necessarily do that. But they're 2 or 3 of them up on counter battery will stun pretty quickly.
All right, now one of my favorite Toulon units, right? The Kriegsmarine Bootbezutzlung. Yes. Like the 3 MG34s is just crazy. The amount of suppression it's putting out, and against these disheartened troops, it's just making them run.
Yeah, it is interesting that he brings all of his elite infantry out in B and just kind of spread it out a little more. I would say it'd probably help him because we saw earlier he kind of got bogged down in certain spots, and his Maros, like he kind of just charges Maros at the MG34.
Yeah.
But I like to bring the Kriegsmarine boys out in A, and then I use like my Maros or Brandenburgers in B and kind of make like a nice combo, or vice versa. But they are so nasty with the 3 MG34s.
Oh yeah, no, the amount of suppression they put out at like over 100-meter range is just crazy. Because each one of those MG34s puts out, where's the suppress? 66, 22 suppression per burst.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, they're a great unit.
Whew, that is crazy.
And they do have 5 MP40s too, so even like if they get stuck in a forest, they're not awful. You know, they're not like full ersatz mode, like when Panzer Grenadiers gets caught in a heavy forest. Though obviously they don't excel at that. And it's why pairing them with the Maros is really nasty. Like if you can get the Kriegsmarine boys to go ahead and get down suppression, then get your Maros up close. Even though the Maro isn't the Maro of yesteryear with its no Molotov cocktail, but it still does have the shock trait like you talked about. So they're still pretty nasty. If these were full health Maros, not the remnants of a once proud company, they could probably clean out these Decimas, but they'll probably lose here.
Yeah, and the Decima's having also, 6 Berettas and 2 LMGs?
2 Beretta, yeah.
Yeah, no. Like, the 12-man Maro squads are really good just because they're not anemic. Like, they have 12 men. And if you look at a lot of the other Italian squads, like even 4th Alpini, CIL, any of those other Italian units, they're all 8 men. Like, they just drop so fast.
Yeah, and if you saw right there, he stopped the Maro, got a good engagement on one of the Decimas. The 4 men killed 7, which is what the Maro will do. Though he did kind of hurt himself by keeping his Kriegsmarines moving too long, so they took too much suppression.
Yeah.
It's a big thing that new players don't also realize as well. Like when you're in your infantry engagements, you don't want to be moving because you're going to take more suppression and damage. Like you want to be set up in stationary so that way you can get the maximize your your traits and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I'd like to say it was a good game between Dragon CZ and Borry, and I think that what we saw there was just Borry utilizing the support equipment and winning
Yeah.
those small engagements until it snowballed. And that's what you're going to see in the mirror matches, with especially with income, because there's no
Yes.
like
Right.
one person is better than the other in this phase. It's literally just how many small engagements can you win.
Yeah, because you're right. There's no get back in the game mechanic if you play the same income for the most part, right? Like there's just no what you're going to have to. A lot of it's going to be down to deck choice and player skill. And so like Borey took a really good fight off the start of the game, which allowed him to get a very quick 15-9. And then Dragon just kind of never did anything to alleviate that. I mean, he never pushed down south of the town, never any real aggressive moves besides pushing the very head at the top. So.
Yeah.
He kind of just allowed himself to get stuck there and pinned into a 15-9. Even with the KD, he didn't necessarily trade awful for the second half of that match. It just didn't matter.
Yeah, once Borey once Borey had the positions,
Right.
like you weren't getting him out, especially with Toulon. Toulon is like really good at digging into areas and just holding them.
Yeah.
With like whether it be 88s, SIG 33s, all of the random support equipment that that division can have. Like you're looking at 88 105s that can one tap Panthers, right? Like
Right. Right.
when Toulon digs into a position, you need to undig them out with smoke, with like air superiority, with artillery, but you need to get in, right? And I think that one of the big things that we can take out of this game here is the use of smoke, because if you can deny the enemy's access to those long range things that are denying you the ability to get in, then you'll be able to be good. You can get in there, you can throw your Decimar DD in there, you can throw whatever you got to like just get in there and plaster them within 100 meters.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it was the big thing against Toulon, because you're completely correct. If Toulon can get the early, use its speed, get the advantage early, and then set up for the heavy fight like that comes afterwards, because it has so much strong support equipment, you're in a hard. You're gonna be in a rough situation. The best way I've always found is you gotta hit them really hard before they can set up. You don't, especially when the AA net goes up, because that AA net is multi-capable, like you talked about. Like you have the big 105 piece that one shots medium tanks, right? So you need a lot of support firepower in your support tab. That's preferably not IG-33s, but like he had Brumbars, you know what I mean? We saw the Brumbar and it got blapped by a fucking wolf.
Yeah.
So he had like stuff to counter that. He just never really got it going.
Yeah, and I think that's just the big thing. Like, if you notice what your opponent's doing, you can either counteract it or push in a different area, and that's, I think, a
Yeah.
really big lesson to learn for newer players.
Yeah, I agree with that. He should have pushed the town. I don't know if it works, but the town should have definitely been pushed.
Yeah, like force them to invest in a different area, so then maybe you can invest back into where you lost there, or just push it in a different way. Try to balance the map, and so you got that weird like feng shui symbol going, where like half of the map that they pushed is theirs, but half the map you pushed is yours, and you can like equalize from there.
Right. I completely agree with you.
All right, and with that, I'd like to thank you all for joining us for another cast from the Master Box. I'd like to ask you guys to please like, comment, and subscribe. And anything else from you over there, Graham?
Hit that like button.
Yeah, what he said. All right, until next cast, I'll see you guys later. Bye now.